Going that way, guys.
Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis were involved in a heated altercation outside a Miami club that quickly turned chaotic, with punches thrown and serious tension spilling over into personal matters, including disrespect toward families and possible consequences affecting their careers. The situation reportedly began when Gervonta Davis crossed the line by openly criticizing Crawford and his family in a harsh way, and he further escalated things by mocking Crawford for his pursuit of a fight with Canelo Alvarez. What had been a growing rivalry for months finally boiled over last night in a shocking and explosive confrontation that many did not see coming. It was one of those typical high-energy nights in Miami, with celebrities and sports stars gathering at the city's hottest club. Among the VIP guests were Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis, both out to relax and unwind after their recent fights. At first, they stayed in separate areas, but as the night went on, their paths eventually crossed. According to people who were there, the situation shifted when Davis walked up to Crawford in what clearly looked like a confrontational mood, setting the stage for rising tension between the two. Crawford, known for staying calm under pressure, initially tried to ignore the situation, but things escalated when Davis started taking shots at him over his pursuit of a fight with Canelo Alvarez. The tension quickly built as Davis mocked Crawford, even laughing and saying that Canelo doesn't care about him and that he's only chasing the fight for a payday, which made the atmosphere even more heated and unstable.
A fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and Turki know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
And when do you want to get out next? I know you're here in London tonight. When are you going to be in a camp? When are you going to be in a camp? I know you're
in camp. Training camp in March.
Okay, so
at the beginning of the middle of the February.
In a matter of seconds, Crawford reached his limit and lost his composure, moving toward Davis and throwing a punch that shocked everyone watching. Security immediately rushed in to break them apart, but by then the situation had already turned into full chaos. People were shouting, cameras were going off everywhere, and the entire club fell into disorder. What was supposed to be a normal night quickly turned into a dramatic and unforgettable scene, though for all the wrong reasons. Following boxing closely, this clash didn't come out of nowhere. Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis have been building tension for months, trading insults and pointed comments across social media, which steadily fueled the rivalry until it finally spilled over into a real-life confrontation. The feud reportedly started when Crawford criticized Davis for not being invited to Turki Alalshikh's exclusive Ring Awards event in London, something Davis clearly took offense to. Davis, known for never backing down, fired back by accusing Crawford of chasing money instead of legacy, especially pointing to his controversial decision to pursue a fight with Canelo Alvarez, which only added more fuel to their growing rivalry.
Are you retiring?
Are you losing the love?
What changed?
What made this shit trash? Garbage.
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
Madam. Gervonta, something should have happened during this time, because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything? Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Edelby usually they're around to?
You think you might be gaining love for it though? You never know. Like, like say you got to walk for days. Okay.
The insults continued going back and forth, each one more intense and personal than before. This rivalry had been making headlines for quite some time, but most people didn't expect it to ever cross the line into physical confrontation until it suddenly did recently.
Just won his debut at 154. Said if the money's right, we'll fight. Everybody wants that fight. What do you feel about that matchup? People saying the weight, all this stuff. How do you feel about that?
Everybody wants to fight me. Everybody calling me out and everything. And like I say, I have nothing to win with Crawford. 2-3 weights plus less than me. But if the money is right, why not? Right? Why not? But look, I'm focused 100% on Berlanga. I know I have a challenge in front. I never overlook any fighter. So I'm focused 100% in this, and then we...
Now turning to the situation involving Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, which Gervonta Davis used as a way to criticize Crawford. Crawford's decision to move up to 168 pounds and challenge Canelo for his unified super middleweight titles sparked mixed reactions across the boxing world, with some supporting the bold move and others questioning it. This topic became a key point of attack for Davis, who used it to mock Crawford during their ongoing feud and add more fuel to the tension between them.
Terence Crawford was Turki Alalshikh at the other event across town, put out an open challenge to you on the internet with Turki Alalshikh calling you out. What's your response to Terence Crawford's call out tonight?
No comments.
On one side, many view Crawford's decision as a bold and risky step, giving him the opportunity to strengthen his legacy by taking on one of boxing's biggest and most recognizable stars. On the other hand, critics argue that he is simply chasing a big payday and believe he has a very slim chance of actually beating Canelo.
Say, I want Canelo. Is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh man, you will whoop his ass.
Like, yes, man type. You know what I mean?
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Magdalene.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stone.
Davis didn't hold back on this issue either, mocking Crawford for thinking Canelo even cares about him or the potential matchup. He suggested that Canelo is focused on bigger priorities and more important fights, while Crawford is wasting his time pushing for attention. Davis even went further, saying Canelo doesn't even know he exists and accusing Crawford of calling for a fight like it's his final career plan.
Metal shield and you have a glass shield. Talk about the punch resistance. What do you think it takes to assessment, man?
We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Could he get it in the future?
Too little.
I mean, you came up from 35, right?
He ain't fighting no real guys at 47.
See, okay. What about everyone's talking about Errol fighting the winner of Canelo and Jamel. Could you ever do that? Is that too much weight or?
What, 168? I ain't going up there.
Right.
So you got Canelo winning then, right?
Then he fighting at 160.
The proposed fight between Crawford and Canelo has been labeled by many as more of a spectacle than a serious sporting contest, with critics calling it a circus fight meant more for entertainment and attention than for true competitive value.
My brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, is his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better, you know what I'm saying? But, Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't count.
Boxing experts and analysts believe Crawford should prove himself at 168 pounds by taking on top contenders first, instead of getting an immediate shot at Canelo. According to reports, Davis's comments hit a nerve and struck a deeper chord, ultimately pushing Crawford to his breaking point.
Is that career defining? Is this a legacy fight for you?
Well, when I got shot, for me to change my life the way that I did and stop hanging out with the guys that I hung out with, my career started going up. And yes, this is a legacy fight for me. This is a mega fight. This is a superstar fight. This is all those in one with me and Errol Spence Jr. A lot of people, they writing me off because they say, oh, well, he's too small, or he haven't fought nobody like Errol Spence, or his resume is this, or his resume that. There's a lot of things that a lot of people can say, but on July 29th, all the answers to everybody's questions.
Fans reacted strongly as news of the Crawford-Davis incident spread, with social media exploding and hashtags like #SharkClubChaos and #TankDavisChBoxing controversy quickly trending. Many supporters stood behind Crawford, saying Davis went too far by bringing his family into the dispute. Others believe Davis is simply stirring controversy to keep himself in the spotlight as he nears the later stage of his career. Either way, it's clear he's not just fighting for attention. He's generating massive buzz, and it's definitely getting people talking.
Trash. What changed? What made this shit trash? Garbage.
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
Gervonta, something should have happened during this time, because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything?
Fed up with
Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Edelby? Usually they're around to.
You think you might regain the love for it though? You never know. Like like I said, you got to walk today.
But here's the twist. Gervonta Davis isn't only focused on Crawford. Reports suggest he's also in talks for a massive rematch with Ryan Garcia, a deal rumored to be worth around $150 million. The funding is said to come from Turki Alalshikh, the same high-profile figure known for backing some of boxing's biggest and most extravagant events, adding even more attention and speculation to what Davis might do next.
If I fight Ryan again, if they're not on some host, I text that ass again. Tell them boys to give me 150 M's. I'm coming. You know what I mean? When I start streaming out that, and that, stop it. Knock it off, cuz. Stop it. Tell them send that bag, and I'm coming. And I'm,
Turki Alalshikh's involvement goes beyond just financial backing. He aims to bring a big event, entertainment-driven energy to every fight he supports, turning them into global spectacles. He's also seen as a key figure behind the scenes in both Crawford's and Davis's recent career moves, helping fuel the rise of crossover matchups and high-profile super fights that are grabbing attention across the boxing world.
Canelo, Johnny Boy Boxing, Fight Hype. I just want to ask you, what do you think about Terence Crawford? What do we think about Terence Crawford's performance, and do you want to get a fight with him?
If the money is right, I mean,
$100 million. I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
150.
150?
Fans are excited about how Turki Alalshikh's influence is changing boxing, turning each major fight into a full-scale spectacle that feels like a blockbuster event. Whether Crawford continues his pursuit of Canelo or Davis intensifies his rivalry with him, it all seems to fit into a larger push to keep boxing in the spotlight and fans fully engaged. With Davis also hinting at making a big final impact before retirement, many are expecting even more high-drama moments and major showdowns in the near future.
That's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo has, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another. You know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that.
So what does all of this mean for Crawford and Davis moving forward? For Crawford, the fallout could be serious. With a major fight against Canelo potentially on the horizon, this kind of controversy is the last thing he needs. Promoters and sponsors are unlikely to be pleased if their fighter is making headlines for an alleged street altercation, and it could even put future negotiations or the matchup itself at risk.
I don't want to box no more. I want to do therapy, right? But I feel as though if I do therapy, it will lose the fire that I have inside me. I want everything out of me where so I don't never think about fighting again. I don't think about even getting angry. You know what I mean? Because I have 2 girls, 2 daughters. I'm wanting to be much softer, you know what I mean? Be more humble and things like that.
On the other hand, Davis has also been hinting at retirement for a while, and this incident could potentially push him closer to hanging up his gloves sooner than expected. He still has one more scheduled fight against Lamont Roach at the Barclays Center, and there are also growing rumors about a possible major showdown with Keyshawn Davis that fans are already talking about. However, this recent violence and controversy could end up overshadowing the final chapter of his career and affect how his time in the sport is remembered.
They talking, they talking, but you know I get, you know I gonna 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 get, but you know I gonna get, a real machine, you know I gonna get, a real one. And I promise you, you better lead them home. You better lead the females home. On my mother, you better lead the females home and the kids. On my mother. Now watch this. Now watch.
They gonna be
now
there.
Watch. Now watch.
What's different from 10 minutes ago?
You know how when they told you say how like I posed for Lomachenko, right? And like how he said like he was retiring, things like that. I feel as though like we've been in it so long that we are getting tired of it. Like we've been beating our body up so long, but it be like situations like just now, like where he talking that spark the plug again.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Takes for you? Is that all it takes? Just a little comment?
Nah, but that's what I want though. I don't want you to fight me like you saying you're going out.
It always go like this. It always go like this.
Nah, what I'm saying, you just said you feel like you going out.
They go to sleep.
I don't want you.
Both fighters could potentially face fines or even suspensions from boxing commissions, depending on how the investigation unfolds. At the same time, public opinion is already forming quickly, and it's leaning heavily against both of them. Overall, it's a complicated situation, and the consequences could turn out to be serious for both Crawford and Davis, both professionally and in terms of how fans view them going forward.
You know, he wants you, things like that. Does that stuff just sound crazy, or just like I'm supposed to be called out? You know,
when you look at all the great fighters that was getting called out by everybody from different weight classes, so it's nothing, that I'm not surprised about.
A Tank would be something that, he said he'll touch your chin and...
Man, everybody say, what they'll do, but Tank is in his weight class for a reason, and I don't see him come up to 140.
With all this ongoing drama, the big question now is whether Crawford and Davis will ever meet in an official fight. There's a clear weight gap between them. Crawford has competed around welterweight and is stepping up toward higher divisions, while Davis has dominated at lightweight, but boxing has seen stranger matchups happen before. Still, Davis has also been talking about retirement, which makes the situation even more uncertain. Because of all these shifting factors, nothing can be ruled out, and the possibility of a fight remains open, even if it still feels complicated.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him to come and touch it.
Wow, man! Gervonta said you got a glass.
He said I got a glass chin. Tell him to come and touch it.
At 147?
At 147. I'll make 147.
Ooh, see, oh man,
you gonna have a pre-count.
Then what the people gonna say? Oh, he's beating up on little guys.
If Crawford and Davis ever decided to settle their issues inside the ring, the hype would be massive, easily making it one of the most discussed fights in recent boxing memory, with fans fully locked in. Even though there are clear challenges like weight differences and ongoing uncertainties in both fighters' careers, the idea still captures huge interest because anything feels possible in boxing. The big question now is what happens next. Will both men face consequences for the incident? Could it eventually lead to a sanctioned fight? And how might all of this impact their careers and legacies moving forward? There are still many unanswered details, and the boxing world is waiting for clarity as the situation continues to develop. One thing is clear. This story is not over yet, and both Crawford and Davis still have unresolved tension that could play out in or outside the ring, so all eyes will be on what comes next.